Guys, Brian back here with another Nvidia update. I want to show you some things that could possibly be going on here. First off, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research with stuff like that. But I'm just going to show you what I see going on in the chart in here. Okay, this is Nvidia on the daily. You can see this trend line, this trend we're following up here on this thing. This trend started back after this breakout in January, after the breakout of this resistance here. Alright, what I'm going to show you here, right over here, if we put a Fibonacci on this thing, if you're not real familiar with using this thing, you can see we had a retracement up to the 702 right there. Kind of nailed it right on the dot. Alright, 702 retracement. Usually you don't make it through the 702 or 786. You're usually in for a correction. The thing's going to roll over. You make it up through them levels and you're looking at higher prices, okay? But what usually comes in at a 702 is ABC correction. Alright, so you can see this thing came down, ended up coming back up, hitting that 702 on the dot and rolling over. Now, if we measure this thing out, usually the A and the C leg are 1-for-1 ratio. You can see if we put that down there, you can see it was pretty much perfect there. Okay, so you had your A, B, C right down here. Alright, so that obviously ended up being an ABC. Now, if we zoom into what's going on right now with this thing, we have to go into the 4-hour chart. Alright. Besides this huge gap we have here, you know, that possibly sometime, you know, a lot of times these gaps get filled. This one here, I mean, it has a pretty good gap here from, you know, what is that, roughly 317 up to, you know, 366 area right up there. But let's zoom in here on this 4-hour chart. All right, you can see this thing is doing exactly the same thing here. If we put a Fibonacci on this, all right, pull this down, see that 702 it hit right there. So what could possibly be going on right here is another ABC correction. Now if we measure this out, a 1-for-1 ratio, you know, it's going to put us possibly right down where that gap started there. Okay, so you had an A, a B. This is what it looks like is going on to me. Okay, the C leg would come down here, possibly that would catch it there at that 366. But the measurement, a full length of it would be down around the 360 to 365 area. Alright, so that would be that ABC correction coming in. Now, is there anything else telling us that that could be the case right now? Well, if we pull up the RSIs, we'll take a look here. If I could ask you to please hit the like and subscribe, I would appreciate that so very much, guys. And I want to show you some possible bearish divergence going on in here too here in a second. Alright, but we can see this 4-hour RSI, this thing's been high for quite a while. Right, the stochastic is actually bearish right now. It's at a 57 and a 58. So if we go out further here, the 12-hour, it's turned bearish at a 58 and a 73. The daily, same story, 58, 73. Alright, so you got bearish RSI indicators. So this thing is obviously heading for a correction here, the way things are pointing out. Now that weekly, it's up at a 100 and a 91, getting pretty maxed out there. Alright, now if we go out here on this monthly time frame, I want to show you some possible bearish divergence forming in here. Alright, let's clear this chart off, number one. Let's get rid of everything on there. Alright, you can see right back here, our high on the RSI on the bottom, the regular RSI. Let me get rid of the stochastic here so there's no confusion. There we go. You can see on the RSI, you can see when our high came in here. Okay, it was right there on the RSI. You see that high down there, the high here. Now you can see over here we have a higher price coming in here. Okay, but a lower RSI. So if this thing, which it is, it's starting to roll over. You can see that it's starting to get a curve to it here. That would be bearish divergence here. So it's showing weakness. Apparent, you know, you got that declining, and then you got price going up. Okay, so that excuse me, It looks like some bearish divergence could be coming in there. Some weakness. It's getting overextended, it looks like to me. And, it looks maybe the buyers are burning out a little bit here. We got a lot of green candles on this thing, but at some time you have to have a correction. I mean, the things don't go straight up forever. So I would expect this thing to have some sort of pullback here, in my opinion. And especially how the RSIs are indicating oversold and overbought. And I'm sorry, if we put this trend line on here, we could end up pulling back to the trend line. Let's get this thing on here first and see where that could be. If it ends up pulling back down to this line, you can see it would have to go straight down here to fill that gap to hit this trend line. But you can picture it coming down here, maybe wiggling around in here, maybe hitting somewhere around there and working its way up, or breaking down through. One of the two, whatever happens with this thing. But it's definitely it's looking strong, but you can see even some sellers have stepped in here. If you look at the volume here on the bottom, let's get a look at them. You can see some big red candles coming in there. Nobody would obviously some people thought maybe a top was coming in here. You had 154 million in this candle right there, and then you got two big red ones coming after that. You can see them down there at the bottom. So possibly a correction coming in. Like I said, looks like an ABC, and we also have that massive gap there. So in my opinion, this thing looks like it's going to come down a little bit. Like I said, that if we go in the 4 hour and get a measurement of this possible correction here, put that fib on top to the bottom. Oops, I apologize. I just want to get this as accurate as I can. An ABC looks like it could take it down into the low 360s. Anywhere from 360 to 370, I would think. So I'm expecting that to come in. Thank you so much, guys. I'll get back to you soon, but keep an eye on that monthly RSI there. If it turns out to be bearish divergence there, just be extremely careful. So thanks a lot, and I hope everybody has a great day. I'll talk to you soon.